Hey guys, welcome back to another Guild Wars 2 video. So today is going to be a little bit more chill. I'm not going to go too fast. So this video is about my account's overview tour for basically my entire Guild Wars 2 of playing. So of course, if anything, we're going to always go to guildwars2efficiency.com in order for us to see where our account stands. So my account value is 196,000 gold approximately, and I'm ranked 6,510. So if you're above me in this rank, good job, good for you. It says hey, over here you are higher than 98% of 341,000 accounts. So I'm like top 2%, I guess, if you can say that. Top 2% ain't that bad, is it? Of course, this is out of 341,000 accounts. There's probably a lot more richer people that don't even use Guild Wars 2 efficiency, but hey, this is the best accurate way of determining where you stand in terms of your economic value in Guild Wars 2. And then we want to look for our oldest character is 8 years and 7th month old, 7,077 deaths on my Guardian. This is my Guardian. So let's see, created in May 19, 2013. This is not my first character. My first character was actually a thief, but I deleted him because back then there was no birthday present at that point. I don't remember. Maybe they did, or they did not introduce it until the first year came upon, and then obviously I missed out on that. So I think I played a little bit before 2013, just a small bit, maybe 2 or 3 months before that, and then I switched to being a main guardian. So my first main character was actually a thief, and it was difficult. I remember when I was a thief, it was pretty difficult when I was playing the content. It was core theory at the time. There was like no builds or anything that I searched up or anything like that, so I kept like blue gear and green gear, and then like I tried to take on some veterans and stuff. I always die, and then I look up for Condi builds. I still die, and I'm always dying. So let's go over to back to Guild Wars 2 and check what is my current character and hours played for the total across all characters that you see on the top down left corner, bottom left corner. I played over 18,342 hours, 11 minutes over the past 3,169 days. Oh my goodness. And granted, these are not hours went into AFK farming. It'd be crazy if I AFK farm for 18,342 hours. All right, now let's get into our PvP. Of course, you know, when you have played as many hours as I have, you want to tap into every single game mode in this game. Of course, you don't always have to be that kind of person, but I like to experience all the flavor that is out there in the ice cream world. You know, you got vanilla, chocolate, whatever. I'm talking too much. Let's go. So here's my rank is 213 over here. So that's the pretty much your level for SPVP. And I played Guardian the most. As you see, win rate 64.42%. Revenant 51, Thief, Ranger, and all that. So it's almost like a little bit above 50% chance of winning the game. All right, so this is killproof.me, basically telling you you're kill proof for raids and fractals. So legendary insights is the rings 1 through 4, and then legendary nation is rings 5 to 7, and then the unstable fractal essence is your CM's fractals, and the bone skinner is the bone skinner for strike missions. So this is the amount of time that I spent in raids, which is probably a total of 300 of this total. So I only got 300 because I liked the heavy armor class better than the rest, and I didn't like the light armor nor the medium armor. I went for the legendary world versus world armor and PvP armor than the PvE one, because the PvE one is a lot harder to get, in my opinion, at least longer to get than the PvP one, because the PvP and the world versus world you can solo everything yourself, but for the PvE you need a group. Like, you can't get by getting the insights without a static group or a good group to run with every single week, and that's too time consuming for me. So I only did it for one armor, and boy, I had a very bad experience with raids, and I don't think I want to touch raids again. But other than that, for the unstable fractal essence, you get 120 of them per day. So if you just divide this number by 120, you'll see how many days I have been doing the CMs. I mean, that's just the approximate, because this does include your, you know, rare drop of, you know, unstable fractal infusion or something like that. It's the red or celestial or whatever like that. It also includes something like that as your total count here. So yeah, that's just all. This thing is just for kill proof for basically people to see whether you're experienced or not. So that's mine. All right, let's get back into game. Right now we are going to discuss our little shared inventory slots and a little bit of history behind them, of my history. So everybody's history about these items are going to be different, but I would like to tell you guys about my acquisition method of these, or maybe my interesting experience with it. So let's get started. For the copper fed salvage kit, I had this for a very long time, way before there was even a shared inventory slot. So I had to buy 2 of these. This was back in like 2015 or something, when dungeons were still relevant at the time. I had a copper fed salvage kit, and I bought another one because I had kind of like 2 mains. I was doing a thief and then a guardian, so I just didn't like dragging these copper fed into the bank and grabbing it with another. So thank goodness for the shared inventory slots. So yeah, so I have a copper one, and then I also got the rune crafter just recently. Not too recent, maybe a year or 2 years ago. I got this because salvaging green with rune crafter is a lot more beneficial than salvaging greens with copper fed. So every blue that I get, I salvage with copper fed, and every green I get, I salvage with rune crafter. This is supposed to be the most profitable way of salvaging your things. Of course, I can always get the silver omatic, which is basically acts the same way as your mystic salvage kit, but because I have so many mystic stones that I can make infinite amount of mystic salvage kit, so I don't have to worry about buying a silver omatic salvage kit just yet. And of course, I play a lot of fractals. We get a lot of these black lion salvage kits, so it's not worth a mention. So next off, we got the upgrade extractor. This thing I got before there was the legendary wardrobe. So I had a lot of legendary gear on only one character or something, and then I made ascended gear for all my other alts. And then of course, you know, they had runes in them, and they have runes and sigils in them, and infusions. So in order for me to take out those items, I cannot freely just take it out like how I do with legendary gears now, right? So back then I would just, you know, take them out with the endless upgrade extractor, and then that will help save me a lot of gold, and I could sell those sigils out and runes as well. So that will save me a lot of money. But then when they introduced the legendary wardrobe, this has obviously became useless to me now. But the only thing that this is good for is that maybe I have some lingering ascended gear that I need to take out of. You know, I still have like, I need some ascended weapons because of how the way ascended and legendary stat swapping works. When you switch to a particular weapon, you're not switching traits, or you're not switching equipments. The only equipment you're switching is a weapon, and then when you switch that out, your legendary weapon will reset in stats, and you have to repick it, and you have to repick the sigils that are in it, and that takes a while to do if you just have 2 of the same ascended weapons, or 2 different ascended weapons with different infusions and different sigils. You're able to swap those out instantly without having your stats reset. So that's the drawback of having the legendary weapons right now. They need to really fix that. I don't know how they're going to fix it. I don't know when they're going to fix it. So right now, the endless upgrade extractor still has its relevancy with the ascended weapons. So we're still keeping that in our share inventory slot. As far as how much I paid for this, I don't even remember. I think I paid for it, like it almost cost as much as buying the bank permanent bank access one, which I got for 800 to 900 gold. I don't remember how much I paid for it, but it was way cheaper when I got this. So let's see how much is the upgrade extractor. Okay, 2,000 gold. I paid about 1,000 gold. I think I 1,000 gold for this, and yeah, I guess it went up in value. That's good. And for the permanent bank access, so I got this before they introduced the inventory, the shared inventory slot. So I predicted that this thing would skyrocket in price, so I bought one right before they launched it. It was still at 800 to 900 gold, and I was like, okay, if I know this correctly, if the shared inventory slots are gonna be like meta and everybody wants to put stuff in it, what is the most profitable thing or most convenient item that you could use the inventory slots for? And then I thought, oh, permanent bank access, trading post, merchant, and repair canister. This is the most useless one that I bought. But of course, when I was buying the permanent stuff, I did not have a YouTube channel to talk about whether you should get this before the inventory slot. If I did have a YouTube channel, I would have mentioned that you should get permanent contracts that were still cheap at the time, but look at it right now, it's 5,400 gold. And there's only 60 of them sale, so I made a good bet on that, and yeah, it paid off. Of course, my other predictions for other things like the Mystic Coin did not age very well, and oh well, you know, you get some right, you get some wrong, you know. But yeah, let's continue. Let's get the Personal Trainer Express. Also the same thought. I was like, why should I keep going to a trading post when I could just have it in my inventory? Of course, they still have to make this a little bit better in quality of life. This thing cost about Personal Trader 2,180 gold. You know how much I bought this for? I bought this for 750 gold. That thing has skyrocketed in price just as much as the permanent bank assets. Wow. So yeah, I was thinking about these back when, you know, the shared inventory first came out. I was like, okay, those things are going to skyrocket in price, so I'm just going to pay for it now. Even though back then probably gold was more rare, because remember when on release 1 gold was like so much, but now gold is like so plentiful because of inflation. We get gold almost everywhere, so that's why it's probably inflated with this price. Someone's got to do some what data analysis, inflation, deflation record of Guild Wars 2 in order for you to find out the true value of what this is way back in the time when I bought it, to see if you actually bought it cheaper or not. But this is just a game. Chill out. So to those people who are wondering whether, you know, you made a profit in the game, you should be doing those data analysis on our real money, USD, with inflation and all that. That's more important than just doing it in the game. But anyways, let's move on to our Merchant Express. So again, I bought this around the same time. Let's just say I bought everything around the same time about all these quality of life changes. So I bought this knowing that it was gonna be useful for me, but let's see how much this thing costs now. Merchant 600. Okay, this one did not go up in value at all. This is about the same price I paid for it. Actually, I paid 800 gold for this back in the day. Now it's 625 gold. Why did it drop down in value? My only prediction is because people now have infinite tools, and there are more of it, more abundance of infinite tools, so there's really no need in having a merchant to buy off those gathering tools, because before they never had infinite tools, and then they introduced it. So I bought this before they have infinite tools, so that I can have easy access to replenish my tools whenever I finish gathering or something like that. Yeah, I'm an oldie. I'm an old timer. You know, a lot of people know this struggle when they first played the game too. So I'm not the only one. So I bought that for that, and also to sell junk. I remember doing the Twisted Marionette when it first came out. We had so much junk in the inventory. We always had our inventories full, and we always have to like either go back to town or not, like that. And like the waypoint for the merchant that you want to sell junks to is like so far off from the battle. It's like you don't want to just waypoint over there and then run back, because we didn't have mount at the time, so we it was difficult. So that's why I got this. And obviously it went down in value because, again, it seems like the inventory slots has been fixed. Why? Because remember, we got introduced to pieces of unidentified gear and common all these unidentified gears. So these things, basically you can stack these up, and then your inventory will be free of clutter, and you will just get like some junks that stack up. But back then in the day when we were doing Twisted and Marionette, I remember that day that our inventory was just full of greens and blues, and we didn't have stacks like this. So that's why we had to keep clearing our bags and everything like that. Even dungeon runs, when we were doing it back then, we're always clearing our bags because we're just always full. But now that these are introduced, there's almost no reason for us to be summoning a personal merchant express unless you want to sell all the junks that you just are too lazy to waypoint or anything like that. But that's why I'm thinking the price is at this level. Other than that, we got the endless repair canister. I got this after that they introduced that the repair kits were free. But the thing is, I play a lot of World versus World at that time, and we would normally be damaged, and I am lazy. Oh yeah, and also play a lot of fractals at that time, and there was no repair kits inside the fractals that we are going into, so we can't repair. We have to go out of the fractal, repair outside, go back into the fractal, and then continue our run. So I got this just because I did not want to waste time when I'm the only one who needs to repair and stop the fractal run and then go out and come back in. So that's why I got this. And For the Mystic Forge, same thing is for convenience. You know, you don't want to always keep going to the Lion's Arcs or World versus World to do your Mystic Coin stuff. And besides, now that we have Mystic Coin dailies and stuff, and where you have to combine 4 things, you're able to do that within anywhere in Ontaria or the expansions without having to stop and go to Lion's Arc or to a Mystic Forge to do it. So I got this, and you get a pretty much portable Mystic Forge for you at all times. So that's why I enjoy using this item. I got this a lot later than the other infinite stuff because I didn't really use Mystic Forge that often. But nowadays, I just like to have it here. And then we got these 2 passes. One of them is the World versus World passes. I got this so that I can keep track of the comments that people make during the World versus World. So yes, Amethyst Bastion Pass, when you enter that, you are basically entering like a kind of small mini map. Let's go there very quickly. So this is like a town hub for World versus World, and you are able to access the entire chat menu of people in every Borderlands that there is. So basically, if you want to stay up to date to what's going on in the World versus World in your server, you come here and then people will start talking and saying like red has this, blue has that, red, purple has this. Of course, those aren't the real colors. You got green, blue, and red. Yeah, so these a lot of people always type in, and then you can edit your chat where you can say where these chatters are basically chatting from. It could be EBG, this Griffinfall, Dragonclaw, and all these other Borderlands. So you can pretty much, like, if we have queues and stuff like that, you can hang out here and then see what's going on. Even though you are in a queue, you see what's going on that is happening inside the map because of what people are saying. Or you can even ask them like what's going on in Eternal Battlegrounds, and you will have a heads up of what's going on, and then maybe you could choose your professions wisely when you get in there. So yeah, that's what I like about this place. And of course, you have access to all of the crafting places and a Mystic Forge here and all that stuff. So yeah, I mainly got this not because of the convenience of all these things, but just for the World versus World chat when I am World versus Worlding. So yeah. Next off, again, this is the Mistlock Sanctuary passkey. I got this a lot later because I always thought like, why do I need this? I could just go to Lion's Arc, or I have the World versus World one for a convenience item. But someone told me that you can actually enter the fractal by going into this map, and then the fractal thing will pop up when you are in this map. So basically, this is another convenient item. You have the bank and trading post over there. You have guild bank over there. Got all the crafting stations over here. You even have the merchants in fractals over there. That I really enjoy that. You know, you see all these people just hanging out, and then you can just, you know, do your stuff in there. So you don't have to be alone inside the lonely fractal when you are, you know, buying your daily stuff over there, or converting your infusions, or getting your potions and stuff like that. You can actually have people around you. So I don't know about you. When I play an MMO, I like to be surrounded by people, but at the same time, I don't like to talk to people. But being surrounded by people makes it feels like you're in a game that is alive. So when you're inside that fractal doing your business, there's no one around, and then it feels kind of lonely in there. But when you're in this Mistlock Sanctuary, I feel like I'm more safe, and I feel like everybody is like here, and yeah, I'm not alone, and I could do my business at the same time everybody else is doing theirs, and I still see them doing their business. So yeah, let's just continue on. Since we're on this map, I want to discuss how I got my 500,000 war supplies and 10,000 catch key. It was during the Revenant AFK farm that we had over here. So basically what was happening, I discovered this first, but I did not post a video about it because I wasn't even thinking about posting videos about that time. But so I was one of the person that discovered this first, that I would just AFK in these plants over here, and then all of everybody are doing the achievement, no, not achievements, but they are helping these caverns to get to the other side, and then that'll always repeat every single time, and then you'll always get the reward. And then every time you finish the event, it will give you some rewards, and then it will stack up, and then you'll get a lot of different things. As you see, the currencies that I got was this, and a lot of T6 mats. Usually it was basically on that side, you would get a lot of vicious fangs and armored scales. So these things dropped in value during that time. And then once people started noticing that a lot of revenants were standing there, Then people caught on, and then we have massive amount of people are AFKing there. And then by the time Init did something, it was the release of the next patch, which expanded the Drizzle Coast area, which now you can fight Jormag over there. So it used to just cut off over here, and that's when the AFK started. The AFK farm for the Revenant started there, and then once it expanded, it stopped because now doing this is useless. Nobody is doing the events anymore because back then you wanted to keep doing events to get like some sort of extra credit for the amount of events you do in this area, but now it's just useless now, so you can't do the same thing back then. And now let's talk about titles. So I want to start out with the PvP titles because that actually demonstrates your skill in game. So I got myself almost all the champion titles, which is basically winning 150. Was it 150 or 200 games, tournament games? Right now it's a lot easier to get because you can play unranked and still be able to get the wins for these. And then before I played, there was no separation of unranked and ranked. The unranked was actually ranked back then, and then the others were just like casual PvP. It was a mess back then, but yeah, I got these. I'm missing the warrior, I believe, and the elementalist because those two I just don't like to play in PvP. I mean, the warrior isn't too bad, but there's better. I mean, they're pretty difficult to kill in my opinion. Let's see, 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8. There should be one more, right? No, wait, champion slayer is killing 200 players. So there's 3: engineer, warrior, and elementalist. So yeah, those are the ones that I didn't play. Illusionist, I was pretty pro mesmer back then, but not as pro as I was ranger, which is the champion hunter. Champion hunter. So my ranger is the one that got me to Dame of Arena, not Dame, Knights of Arena, and Dame of the Arena, because Dame is for female and Knights is for male. So that's what got me to the top 250. And then it also got me, ranger again got me top 250 as well for the Merciless Legend. This is a historical title, you can't get this anymore, but this was the previous version of the PvP titles. This is also a top 250. I was very close to getting the Ruthless Legend though on this run over here, but RNG is RNG. All my wins are just solo play, or most, yeah, all my wins for the titles are for solo play only. So I got all of my titles on solo for the PvP. I think those are the best PvP ones that I can think of right now. I don't think there's anything else. I mean, the Mistreader, those are for World versus World. I think those are also historical. I don't know. I'm not too sure on that. Ransacker, yeah, those are pointless. Other than that, I did want it. So in the long time when I first started this game, I wanted the Champion Slayer title because that was really easy to get. Well, not really easy, but it requires you to kill 200 players in ranked PvP. So this was probably the next title I wanted, but the first title I ever gotten was Combat Healer. And yeah, Combat Healer. Whenever you see anyone using Combat Healer, you kind of could guess that they are probably new to the game because that's the easiest title to get in my opinion. Because when I first started Guild Wars 2, I looked at all the titles and I just wanted a title and I wanted to see which one is the easiest. And then I looked up and then I saw Combat Healer. I was like, oh, really? I just have to revive people? So this was the first title I ever had and used. And I thought I felt, great for the accomplishment. But then now it's not too good. But I still see a lot of newbies or beginners running around with Combat Healer. And that's pretty cute because I know once upon a time I also ran around with Combat Healer. And then I got Champion Slayer. And then I been there, done that, which is world completion, map completion for Corteria, so that's where I got. Also, the Champion Slayer was harder to get than leveling up to like Avengers, Mercenary, and all that stuff. So that's why I wanted the Champion Slayer better. And then next off, we're gonna. So obviously, there's a lot of titles we gotta go through here, but I'm just gonna pick the ones that are the most meaningful to me. So I already discussed a few already. So let's go down the line and start discussing. Let's see, over Dark Traveler. No, the Fear of Doubt. No, I think the best one is Dances with Demons. Yes, this is the Fractals 100. You had to be able to do it without dying. So I got this with a private group. It took us a lot of times. It wasn't something that we aimed after though, because we were just doing our daily 100 fractals and CMs and all the T4s and stuff. And if we get it, we get it. Like if no one dies, no one dies, then we just, go for it. But it's not something that we religiously just kept trying and trying to get after. We just did the fractals for the daily, and then if all of a sudden no one dies for that particular day, we just continue on without GGing at the middle of the fight. So that's how we got the Dances with Demons. Wasn't too bad to get it, but for pugs who are new, it's probably going to be a little bit harder. I mean, you could form your own team to get the Dances with Demon, or I've actually seen looking for group selling Dances with Demons. Now that's wow. I don't know what to say about that, but I don't think it's good at all. Um, well, I mean, yeah, because Dances with Demons is something that you have to prove to join a good CM group. If you don't have Dances with Demons, you won't be able to join CM's group. So if you aren't good and you paid for Dances with Demons, you'll quickly be found out that you're not necessarily this time, and you're wasting the other 4 players' time. So that's not good at all. Nothing wrong with selling things, nothing wrong with selling titles, nothing wrong with selling raids or anything like that. It's just that if you're using the title to fake your way through a pro group and you yourself can't carry your own weight, then that is something to be bad. But let's say you did pay for the title and you know that you're good and you could carry yourself, and you actually do carry yourself, then that's perfectly okay, because you don't want to be wasting time in those lower level dungeons with bad people, because those bad people are just dragging you down. You want to be playing with the best. So if you know you're the best, then why aren't you playing with the best? That's just my take on it. And then we have Dungeon Master, Dungeoneer. Yeah, I remember these. These back in the day when dungeons was like popular. Yeah, that's when I got these Dungeon Master and Dungeoneer. It was actually something I sought to get too. I did have a little group of friends back then. It was like 5-6 years ago or something like that to get these. And yeah, those people no longer play. And I'm still here. Alone. Forever alone. And then the Exotic Hunter. I remember getting this because I liked it. I liked the title, Exotic Hunter, because I was playing a ranger at the time. And I didn't have the Champion Hunter just yet, so I wanted the Exotic Hunter, but this thing required a lot of gold to get, and fortunately I had the amount of gold to get it, and yeah, that's how I got it. But there was no wardrobe at the time for this Exotic Hunter, so I don't know if I unlocked all. Wait, I think no, there was no wardrobe when I unlocked this Exotic Hunter, so a lot of things were overpriced, but right now it's probably very cheap to get, unfortunately. So next faithful, no. Now Fractal God. Okay, now that takes a lot of Fractal runs. So Fractal God isn't necessarily something that can define that you're good or not, but it does help. Like, it's kind of like something you get for, like, a job interview, right? You get CPR training or something like that. It's something to get you boosted up, but not necessarily going to help your resume that much. I mean, it's still going to help, but it's not going to be something that the employer looks at religiously. So yeah, having Fractal God and Dances with Demons is like extra boost to your skill level and stuff like that. And then obviously if you have alts, you don't necessarily have Fractal God, or you got maybe Fractal Savin or something, and you have Dances with Demons. It's really hard to tell. You just basically just try one run with the group, and if someone sucks, then you definitely know that they're not supposed to be long in your Fractal run if you are advertising as elite Fractal 1. All right, next off, we got Heroes of Lion Zark. I remember that. Oh, that's when the old Lion Zark was there. But yeah, a lot of people miss the old Lion Zark because the architecture and the way the atmosphere of it was pretty nice, because it's like a pirate ship that we're all in, but now the reformed one just doesn't feel right anymore, right? And then let's keep going. Knights of Arena, I already discussed that. That's a PvP title. Leave no hero. Oh yeah, leave no hero behind. That is level 99 CM. No one dies. I got this before level 100. I mean, when level 99 was the level 100, and then when they added 100, they moved it down to 99. So I got leave no hero behind with the same group that I got with Dances with Demon. Well, not really the same group, but similar group with Dances with Demon. And then, or maybe I got it with the pug. I don't remember. Most likely with the pug. Okay, anyways, let's keep going. Legendary champion is level 80 in PvP, SPVP, I think. And then we gotta go all the way down here. And looks like I think that's all the most important one. I remember these Annihilator and the Be All End All. That's the Silver Waste killing all the champions. Oh man, was that a pain to get, because you don't know which champion will spawn. They're all random, so sometimes you're gonna have to stay at the Silver Waste for a very long time camping it and all that. Oh yeah, the Blazing Light. So the Blazing Light, yeah, that is the one where you have to defeat Ardry, and it was pretty hard to defeat back then. I got this a long time ago, and yeah, back then it was very hard. I don't know how hard it is now, or the few years that has been out. I don't know how hard it is, but before then, it was a pretty difficult title to get. This was like one of the prestigious PvE titles back then that proves your worth. But I don't know about now. I think Dances with Demons is probably harder to get than the Blazing Light. Don't quote me on that. And then let's see. Yeah, that's about it for the titles. So as you can see, I did play quite amounts of Guild Wars 2, and I did prove the skills that I have to get the titles that I have shown, such as the top 250 SPVP, Dances with Demons, and stuff like that, you know. So yes, I do play the game. I don't just AFK, you know. I have some skill, so don't knock me off on that. All right, now let's look over our account wardrobe. So obviously I have a lot of legendary gear to talk about. And yeah, let's start off with the raid legendary armor. Like I mentioned before, I do not like raids. Why? Groups. Like, I pug all the times, obviously, and I have very bad experiences in those pugs. I never ever want to do raids again. Why? Like, a lot of people ask me, why don't you just have a static then? I had a static, and they also were bad. Obviously, it was probably a bad static then, right? And then I joined a looking for group or a guild for raids. That went pretty well for wings 1 through 4, but wings 5 through 7, not so well at all. Like, nobody knows how to do wings 5 to 7. So I hate it. I hate raids. I said it. I don't like raids. And completing the sets of the the heavy armor for PvE, I paid for one of them, which was wing 7. The last boss was Doom, right? Is it Doom? Yeah, I think it's Doom. I pay for that because nobody knows how to do it when I do it with pugs. Like, okay, granted, I also did not know how to do it either. But after I paid for it and I did Doom again, I was able to do it correctly because the group was good at that time. So I didn't really have to pay anything for the last kill on Doom for the collection. So basically, for your entire legendary armor for PvE, you need to kill every single boss of raids. So yeah, that's how you get the PvE. So I also did pay for the which one was it? Wing 6 as well. One of them. I don't remember. It's the one with the platform that disappears and there was a dragon that you have to fight. I forgot which one but I think you guys know what I'm talking about. You do raids all the time. I think it was wing 6. That's about it. So yeah, I paid maybe 2 bosses for raids because the 2 were the hardest to even get a group that knows how to do it. So yeah, I mean, do I feel bad about paying for it? It was like they charge me like 150 mystic coins per boss, 150 to 200 mystic coins per boss. It's very expensive to pay for something like that, but they 8-man it or 9-man it, so that's good, I guess, right? But I just don't like raids, and it's not that I can't do it. I don't have this. It's not like I don't have the skill, as we saw with my titles before. Um, I could easily learn it. It's just that I can't. I just don't trust. I mean, it's just so hard to get the good group, you know. So yeah, I that's about it for the PvE armor. Anyways, enough rant about that. I just okay. Anything to take away from it? I hate raids because the grouping is never as good as Fractal's grouping. Fractals is so much easier to manage. You get only 5 people instead of 10, so you only have to worry about 4 other people in the group. And most of the time you get one bad egg, or not most of the time, like occasionally you get one bad egg out of the 4. But most of the time is you'll get a good run. But for raids, you know, you need to keep 9 people accountable. That's a lot of you know, chances to take. So obviously, you know, if I joined a really good static or any of the statics would take me, it would be a lot easier. But again, you know, I'm a type of person who likes to free roam. I'm a solo type of player. If I'm tied down to a static, I would need to like what like set a specific amount of time. Like what if some days I just don't want to feel like playing, you know, or I have to go out, and I don't want to be held accountable for that, you know, like, and make people feel bad because they were counting on me to show up that day, but then, you know, something happens and stuff like that. I just don't like to be the person who cancels events. You know, if I set something up, you know, I always go. That's my principle. I don't take back my words. I don't break promises. That's just the way I am, and that's how I was raised to be. So that's why I don't like to join a static, knowing that my life is quite unpredictable. It's not robotic or anything. Things always come up. Sometimes, you know, I might be gone for a while, or sometimes I come back, you know, something like that. And yeah, anyways, enough about my personal issues. Let's go on to the other legendary. So I also got the legendary for the heavy on the, as you can see, these world versus world are also legendary. So I got like 2 sets of legendary. Why? Because the fashions for these look good, and I like the fashion, so that's why I got those. And so I got a heavy set for PvE. I got a heavy set for PvP. The because world versus world, because oh, and also one PvP. Wow, I got like a lot of mixture of SPVP and world versus world here, but the main reason is because either the skin, or because I needed to gear a second medium class with legendary armor, because we did not have legendary wardrobe at the time. So I was playing both a Revenant and Guardian, and again, I like both class, Guardian and Revenant. Guardian was my main choice before, and then I switched to Revenant, and I go back and forth. Sometimes I like Guardian, sometimes I like Revenant, but right now I feel like playing Revenant more than Guardian. So yeah, we're doing that. So that's the history behind my heavy choices, you know. That's how I got my SPVP and World versus World legendaries mixed into with the PvE. And then we got ourselves legendary runes. We don't have to talk too much. That is just gold sync right there. Let's see. Something most important is my first HOT legendary weapon was the Astralary. This was actually the one that this is the one that is lost now. There's no footage of me streaming this, but this was my first attempt of streaming how my path to getting Astralaria, and that was like years ago, and nobody saw it because, you know, I wasn't even on people's radar. But yeah, that video is lost forever, but it showed you the process to get through, how I got through every single one of the collection for this. It was like hours long or something like that, and it felt pretty good back then when I did it. But then, you know, the disappointing of no one viewing it was too much to bear, so I deleted the footages. So yeah, unfortunately, you will never see me, you know, getting this. Maybe you will see me getting the Gen 3 one. How about that? Like, I need an extra axe, by the way, so we might be getting a Gen 3. Hopefully it's not going to be a gold thing, and maybe something like you have to search for things like what the Astralaria does, or the Raven Staff, which I did not get for it. And then, so basically, I have all the legendary slots filled out. Like these armors are all filled out, the weapons are filled out, the trinkets are all filled out. So I have everything legendary except for the helmet for aquatic, because they don't have the aquatic. And so yeah, obviously it's not all of the legendaries, like you know, all Gen 1 and 2. It's a mixture of both depending on which skins I like, and some stuff like that. So my very first legendary ever was the Incinerators. So this was my first legendary. This was when my main was a thief, and I wanted the dagger so badly that it was, you know, something that I got first. And yeah, it was a very cool dagger at the time, and I love playing thief, and that was my first legendary ever. I really liked it. I remember the time when we were playing dungeons and we were doing Citadel of Flames Path 1 for gold. Remember those days, guys? If you are older like me, right? We used to farm Path 1 all the time because it gave good gold. And yeah, man, those were the days, right? We farmed Citadel of Flames Path 1 all the time. And then the more advanced people did Path 2, but nobody touched Path 3 because it was just too hard for Path 3. And yeah, I mean, the skill level for Guild Wars 2, I think, increased. Like, a lot of the content that we have are much harder than the dungeons we had before, and yet we're able to do the contents now versus the contents before. Maybe because the power creep of professions that we have opened up to us, and the strategies that we have, and more people making guides on how to use characters are now more prevalent than there was before. So thank goodness for those people who make guides, like the Discretes and Snowcrow and stuff like that. Shout out to them. And then yeah, so that's my first legendary, the Incinerator. I bet you're the first legendary is either this dagger 2 or the Great Swords. That's my second legendary that I got to as the Great Sword. And then we got all the legendary back pieces just because of the skin, and they were pretty decently easy to get to, mostly for the skin. And I don't even remember. So if I don't remember how I got the legendary, that it's probably not worth talking about. But the trinkets, you know, those trinkets are actually something to talk about because they took long. I remember doing, oh man, I don't even okay, maybe I don't remember all of the trinkets, but I do know that you have to do a lot of like quest collections and stuff for it. And I remember like camping spots, trying for a boss to spawn or either a group to show up to do a particular event. So yeah, that particular event was like in Ember Brain. No, it was Draconis Mons. Yeah, I remember doing the event in Draconis Mons. Like you have to kill like a champion at the end or something, and a lot of people couldn't kill all of them at once, so you would need to do it a couple times before you can actually kill one of them. So yeah, I don't have it on this guy because when I killed it was on my Firebrand, I believe. Yeah, so that was probably the most memorable one out of any of the quests that there was. And now let's go to our mounts. How about that? So let's go to our mounts. Of course, I always get the 2000 gems mounts because that's kind of like a flex, you know? People know these skins as the 2000 gems. I mean, you could get them on sale, but let's just call it 2000. All of these skins are all 2000 because again, it's just, you know, flexing on people like you could afford it. So oh yeah, if you are wondering whether I ever paid money for gold in this game, like exchange my real money, hard-earned money for gems and convert it to gold, no, I have never done that. Everything was farmed. All of my gold was farmed, never bought any gold with real money. So as you can see, I did play this game decently a lot, and I learned how to farm efficiently. So you know, if you made it this far into the video, you're probably one of those few that do like me posting, you know, controversial guides on how to AFK farm or how to farm efficiently in this game. or even, yeah, I mean, maybe it's not efficient, but how to no, I would, you know what, I'm not even gonna apologize. I'm gonna say it is efficient with those AFK farms, because you're doing something else, you're efficiently doing something else while doing Guild Wars 2, and then getting all that extra materials from Guild Wars 2 without you actually putting your mind into the focus of the Guild Wars 2. You're able to relieve yourself from the grinding of gold so that you can actually enjoy the game. So yeah. All right, guys, so that's all I have for today. I'm sorry that this video took so long. If you have any questions, or if you want me to discuss anything else that you saw in my account wardrobe or anything like that, just let me know down below. This is just everything that I would think of to tour my account. If there is something else that I missed out, just comment down below and I could make a part 2 possibly for the video. So I think I tackled everything though. So hopefully you don't. There's no questions left for me to discuss. I mean, but if there is, just comment down below and maybe I'll discuss it in another future video. And we'll see about that, because I don't want to make this video too long. And I'm pretty sure it's probably around 40 minutes so far. But thank you for making it all the way through. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.